Hello and welcome to Automation. Today I want to start a new series of builds that will consist of 6 or 7 parts, I am not sure yet. We will focus on building a car for each decade, basically. And for that purpose I want to use my Polish brand, the PFS. This is the Polonez lookalike, and also I've made 2 another builds, that is the Maluch, the buggy, and also this one was the Baja edition. I should state I will be using only vanilla bodies, so yeah, we won't be doing anything for the 30s, even though there are mods for it. We are starting with 40s, sorry. And I think we will be going with the oldest body possible, that is this sedan body here. It reminds me of one of the old Polish or rather Soviet vehicles. So yeah, let's base our build on this one. So the build I think will be quite cheap. Remember, we are in after-war period, that is when the country is in ruin, and there is a lot of funds needed to build it up from scratch, basically. So yeah, the vehicles are going to be very cheap. If you are wondering why did I pick this exact year and this naming scheme, it is all connected to the foundation of actual Polish passenger car factory that was founded in 1948, and well, it was founded in Warsaw. So yeah, the first car of the bunch will be called PFS Warsaw 48. Also, I am not going to use any reference material for these builds. I am going with what I think would be fitting for this era. So yeah, I guess you can wish me luck. The displacement of this engine will be around... I guess it should be less of a stroker and having a wider bore. I think 2.3 liters should be fine. Remember, back in the day engines were less powerful, less efficient, so you had to give it a higher capacity to make it, well, output any reasonable power. So yeah, we will be going with inline 4, 2.3 liters. As you can see, I've changed a few things here, and we are going with, I think, the cheapest all the way should be fine, and this engine won't be powerful anyway. Even though it's gas engine, we won't be having much of an RPM, high RPM that is. Compression will be also quite low. I think 7.5 should be fine. Cam profile is going to be low, most definitely. Springs of lifters, we can lower them right now. Carburetor, single barrel, yeah, it should be fine. Single carb, compact, intake manifold, and we are going with leaded fuel. Oh yeah, another thing, we are going with lean fuel, as it was back in the day. The fuel wasn't very high quality anyway, so yeah. Headers, compact cast, I think would be fine. Mufflers, baffled, double baffled. Okay, and the engine dies anyway, so yeah, we will be in need of some serious changes here. So our issue is with the crank that doesn't want to go to such a high RPM, so I think giving it some balancing mass should be enough. The question is, which ones should we go with? The valve float, yeah, the springs in lifters have to be changed too. The reliability doesn't need to be that high, cause, well, let's say it wasn't in cars back in the day. It wasn't they weren't very reliable. Overall, I am happy with what we've got here. Quite high torque, not much horsepower, but it should be enough to carry our weight. Still, we should fine-tune it for a bit, like here. Carb is restrictive, intake is restrictive, and headers also are restrictive. We can make them a bit bigger, it lowers our power anyway. Can we go with only one muffler? There is no need for it anyway. We can Or we can do that and this, and it should be good enough. I was fiddling for a bit with the other settings here, and I think we are at sweet spot either way. So yeah, there's not much to be changed here, other than the reliability issues, but I am fine with them. They can be like this. Okay, as you can see, the engine is not that bad either way. We are on 92 octane, and we are delivering to the engine 92 octane fuel, so the tune should be fine, should be. At this point, I think I should state that I am not going to make BeamNG part for this build. The BeamNG part will come later, when I am done with at least a few of the bunch, a few cars of the bunch. I want to show them side by side and maybe test them in some way. We will see what will I come up with. My plan here is to make my own lights for the front. I want something like these ones, but not these actual ones. They don't look good in my opinion. I want to mix some parts with these round headlights like these ones, yeah? I don't want them to be hanging down there. I want them to be right about in this place. And my plan for that is using the mirrors. I don't know if it will work. Wish me luck. I want to fit them properly first, and then I will be fiddling with putting a headlight inside of them. Okay, it did not go that bad as I thought it would. What else should I change here to make it more fitting? Maybe let's go chrome. Okay, this looks neat. Well, maybe not neat, but unique, that is for sure. For the rest of the car, well, I was experimenting with the badging here on the front. I don't know if it's going to stay or not. I am going to place some grills in there, so yeah, it doesn't feel that empty. Maybe some side vents too. We've got some free space here and there. So yeah, I will check in with you in a bit. You could argue these old cars are not for everyone, and I would totally agree with you. But we are getting somewhere. Definitely this build will be quite unique. Wonder if I will be able to keep this motif on the next decade's car, cause, well, I want them to evolve. I don't want them to be completely different from each other. I want to bring to you some more quite similar cars when we proceed with the decades. So yeah, they will change from one another, but hopefully I will be able to keep some characteristics between them. So I don't know, maybe these strange lights will be kept into the 50s build. Maybe this silly grill, or maybe this piece here that is quite unique, you have to agree. This is a vent also, by the way. I guess I should add the indicators as the last thing on the front, and we'll be done here. With the front, that is. Okay, these ones will be tricky too, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, to add some definition, I've give it this piece here and changed the color of the chrome to plastic, partially at least. Are we able to do similar thing here? I don't think so, and I don't think it is possible to add any plastic trim on this bumper here, so we'll keep it like that. Just let me add the indicators. Yeah, I consider the front done. I just angled the headlights a little bit and moved the indicators a little bit too. I think they clip, so I guess I should pull them out of the body. I guess that's fine. Okay, now we've got the rear left and the side panels left. And we'll be done here, with the design, that is. Not much work had to be done on the sides, just mirrors and door handles, aerial and fuel cap. Now, all we've got to do is the rear end. Okay, yeah, wish me luck. Yeah, I've decided to start with something simple. That is the place to hang our license plate. I did that on the front too, don't worry, I didn't forget. And well, that's a piece of definition for our backend. I guess we should put some keyhole in there, the lock. I think I should keep that theme of having separated lights from the body, having additional pieces for them. I don't know. I guess it looks fine. Let me just change it to chrome. Okay, as one piece of light for the back, it looks fine, but I should add something more. Or maybe keep it simple like this. And just add some indicators in the rear too. And maybe some reflective lighting down there or on the bumper. Let me try that out. I am constantly moving the license plates higher and higher. I still feel like there should be some more defining pieces on the rear. Maybe a fake grille would be nice to feel this composition from the front. Oh, I just noticed how ridiculous these headlights and mirrors look. What have I done? Okay, let's stay with it like it is. Okay, the last piece I need to add is the exhaust, because I didn't do so up until now, but well, the choice here will be fairly simple. The exhaust itself is quite small anyway, so we'll need to reduce the size of this pipe and just aim it downwards like so, from this side maybe, and like this. It's fine, let's make it even smaller. Okay, that is all we needed in terms of the design. Kinda cursed design, I must say. That is the last piece for real. I felt like the hood needed some definition too. Okay, yeah, let's move on to the drivetrain. I guess we are going with rear-wheel drive, manual, 3 gears, so we don't need anything more. Let's go with 160 top speed, and first gear will be quite long, or maybe, yeah, let's keep it at 50. Spread, we'll come back to that later. Open diff. Here, cross-ply, we can't pick anything else, so... Okay, I realized I haven't changed the rims, but they will look quite... well, quite ridiculous with this build. Hopefully I can make these wheels be set much more apart, so we don't look that stupid. That's good, we can set the offset just right, they are still a bit hidden, as they should be. I changed the rims, as you can see, and I've made them a little bit bigger. I might change this setting here later on, cause I don't know how much we will be able to lower it, and I don't want the wheels to look ridiculously big. For the brakes, we'll be going with drums, we don't have any other choice. As it comes for the strength of the brakes, we'll come back to that later. I am going to set them to comfort, the pad type. No under tray, that is for sure. Interior is going to be, yeah, bench in the rear and front 2 seats. Basic interior, no AM radio, because remember what era we are in. Steering wheel will be manual. Recirculating ball, I think. Safety standard 40s. And we've got the graphs already. Quickly tuned the suspension, and now we can go back to fixing our issues. Brakes are fading, so we either need to make them bigger or change the type of pads. guess we'll be in need of doing so. Let's go with 120% front brake force and make the rear ones bigger too, and make them a bit weaker, like so. In terms of aerodynamics, we've got none, and I don't know what did you expect with that build, but yeah, that is how it is. How much do we weigh overall? Let's see. 1000 kilo, it's not that bad. It's quite light build, not much I can say. We can't lower the ride height anymore, so yeah. Maybe I should have gone with different suspension type. The last thing to change here is to tune our gearbox, so this car is drivable. I think the top speed is right about under where it should be. We won't reach the top gear max speed anyway. Do we need to change the first gear ratio to be shorter or longer? That is the question. I guess first gear can be quite long, and the other ones should be a little bit closer together. That is the second gear only, and nothing else we can change there. Yeah, so I think we'll be ending it off here. So let's take a final look at our car in the photo mode. I've got the ray tracing on, so it should look a little bit different than in the builder. As you can see, it is not this bad overall. Wonder how it will export into BeamNG Drive, but we will see in a while when I will be well done with this whole series. I am not sure if I will do it partially, so the older builds together and compare them in the BeamNG, or wait for me to finish this whole idea and then do them all together. We'll see how it goes. As of now, we are on the first one, so we are just only starting. Yeah, let's finish it off here then, and well, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. This is Automation. Today is the day we will be building the second part of my challenge, self-challenge you could say, the series that I built a car for each decade. We started with the 40s, and now we are going into 50s. And for that I've got a plan, well, at least I think so. We'll be picking a car that will fit a limousine style build, because I want to build something that's fitting the political class of 50s era, that's Polish political class, or Soviet you could say. So we will be building basically a Soviet limousine. And for that we are picking this exact body, the Winga Dinga 1953 sedan. And for that purpose we will be going with 1955 model year. When it comes to the engine, I think we'll be keeping the old one and the 2.3 liter from the previous build, but I will completely change it. I will retune it. This one will likely weigh around 2000 kilos, so we will need considerably more power to move this thing. So the challenge itself here will be keeping this in line with the previous build, because, well, we are completely different here in many terms. So yeah, I hope I will manage. Wish me luck anyway. But first of all we should focus on tuning the engine so it's more efficient, because right now we've got only 64 horsepower and that is not enough. What should I start here with? We can change the aspiration type, we can change the engine variant here to 55, it should allow us to put a little bit more power. First of all, I think we should move to 98 octane leaded fuel. It already fixed a bit of our issues, these few moves here. The next move should be looking at the graphs here to see what's limiting us in any way. As you can see, I've got only one muffler here, so I guess we should move on to bigger exhaust. For now, let's go with 2-inch, and that will be too much, I think, anyway. And for the headers, we will go with something more fancy, if you will. That should be enough to give us some headroom in our next steps, that is making our way to more efficient fuel system. What should I do here? Let me see. Maybe 4 barrels should be enough, or even overkill. Or should we start with top-end tuning, because compression is quite low right now. I guess we are on a good way, at least we are heading in the right direction, but we should definitely change these parts here, the crank, conrod and pistons, cause, well, our engine is dying. Good thing is, changing the model year of the engine gave us a lot more options, so we can pick and choose however we want. As you can see, we are definitely going in the right direction. Most of the issues are gone, we are doing considerably more power now, and our RPM limit was raised to 6,200 RPM. We are staying like that. I was fiddling with fuel system here, and DCOA twin carb is doing our car most benefit. As you can see, even the performance mid-manifold is doing just fine here. What else we have to change? The fuel map. It will change the most, I think so, at least. Yeah, as you can see, the last warning is gone, and we can fiddle with the engine a bit more. Okay, I think we are done with the tune. As you can see, I've changed the variant capacity a bit, so it's more of a stroker. Why did I do that? To eliminate the valve float and don't overdo it on springs and lifters. So yeah, that's a quick rundown. What I've picked: 9.5 to 1 compression, cam profile quite low. The fuel system, I didn't change much. The carb size is much smaller. Same with the manifold size, change it a little bit. What else? The exhaust, the headers are smaller also. The exhaust is 1.75 inch. So yeah, here comes the hard part, cause even though we are doing well, not much older build, and it's still a sedan, I am going for completely different well, vehicle type. Last one was more of a cheap build. This one is all about luxury. So I need to think how to fit some parts from the previous build. I want to keep the grille, that's for sure. Maybe the bumper also will land on the front and in the rear. What else? I've got this small piece on the front and the hanging out headlights. The headlights will have to go, very likely, but I would like to keep these silly ones on the back. It's a car for a political party, so yeah, it has to be black, it just must be, and very shiny, as you can see. First of all, let's start with the badging. I think I want to keep that motif from the last car, this higher up grille that I've made on the last one, and this will be kind of well, a bigger badge, to be frank, but I think I need to fit it better with the body. Well, I think I found my official badging for this brand. The 5 lines, the circle, and I am not sure about these letters. They don't really pop from this whole build. They are barely visible. I might make these lines a little bit shorter. Same goes for this oval here. Don't know. Let's leave it like that for now and move on to the other parts. That is the headlights and the other part of the grille, the actual grille. So previously I've did something like this, and I've made these ones duplicate. It didn't look that good, I didn't like it that much, but well, I feel like I should do something more personal here, and the bumper I feel like should go over this piece here. Let me show you that. Something like this. So we kinda keep the idea from the previous car, and well, we'll be able to modify it. The bumper I feel like is on the right height, right about when the curve ends, and the curve peaks basically. Here will be the place for headlights. Here, I don't know, maybe license plates should be placed here or down under here. Let's fiddle with it a bit. I just had to try that out. These are the exact same mirrors I used in the previous build, but yeah, I don't think they will stick. I think I know how we can preserve these cursed mirror lights I've done in a last build. We can just put them up here on the front secondary bumper. That's the decorative part here, cause the main bumper is down there, and I feel like it kinda fits the 50s vibe. Same goes for these lights. I just need to make them somehow pop out here a little bit more. There we go, the cursed lights are back. And the last thing I want to do on the front is this light here. How should I approach this? Okay, I guess that's enough of my cursed styling on the front. I guess we should move on to the side panels, and maybe I should put some more definition on the hood. The same piece on the hood like on the last one, the wipers, the metal ones, and the side grille also made its way into this build. Now I guess it's time for the door handles. I don't think I will change them much. Let's take a look at these ones. No, I feel like the ones from the previous build will fit this one too. Okay, I've added some pieces here and there just to make this car more distinct, and I feel like we can move on to the back end. So yeah, I want to keep this mirror type tail lights of my design here still. Yes, I think I've used these ones last time, so let's keep them on. Or maybe we should do something more fancy with them. Or is that too far into the 60s? I don't know. Most definitely the license plate goes into the same position it was last time in last build. That is in this special piece I've made. Yeah, here's the general idea for the rear end of the car. So the bumper piece is kept there, there's some chrome piece that goes all along the way over the car to the front, and it is kept in the rear too. So, also, there's the exhaust, I didn't forget, and the few last things are the brake lights, I think. Maybe I will keep the reflective light that was held right there, but I don't feel like I'm really in need of that. The other thing, maybe I should do some badging on the rear. On the last one I didn't do so, but here we might just fill that in. Generally the car is done. I've put everything on it that I wanted to. The last thing to do is to make it actually drive. It will be rear wheel drive, and this time it's going to be automatic free. But that's for later. I think I will do an interior for it, cause I'm, well, quite fond of it. I feel like it looks quite unique, even more unique than the last one, and definitely much better than the last build, which was kinda cursed. Slowly getting there, as you can see. I don't want to fully fit it like I did with some of my builds. I just want it to look like well, a real car on a photo scene, that is. I don't feel like these particular seats fit well, though. They are quite too big. Okay, this should be more than enough for this interior. It looks quite neat, at least from the outside. If you look inside, it is... yeah, a disaster. But we want this to look good on photos and nothing more, really. Let's just check the undercarriage. If it sticks out too much, well, a little bit, but I can't do anything about it. So yeah, we can now tune this thing. I think I will just skip it on the video, cause it's getting quite long anyway, and just quickly pick parts that fit nicely this build. Look at that, we can go discs on the front. That's new, but still we might need to go drums on the back. No, let's go solid disc on front and on the rear. Or not. Let's go with drums on the back. Disc will be too much anyway, I think. And well, we are getting to the end. I should say now I want to do a BeamNG part here too. So expect that. That's quite neat, luxurious build we made out of this one. I don't think there are many issues with the car. I just will quickly fine-tune it. As you can see, we are even getting into the luxury department on the demographics, so it is nice. It shouldn't drive that bad. We are approximately going to make 160 kilometers per hour. That is not bad at all too. Let's just shorten these gears. And I think we can move on to BeamNG Drive now. So yeah, see you there. Here we are in BeamNG Drive. As you can see, there are still some issues with the exporter. For some reason, the bumper pieces export as steel ones, not as a chrome ones, and I've changed that. I've exported this car quite a few times because I was fixing few things like mirrors that I did forget and the rear license plate. So anyway, let's start with this one. This is the last build from the 40s. Doesn't look that bad in the game. And as you can see, there are some similarities between them. They don't look completely different, even though these are different body types. There are some similarities, some characteristics that I kept between them. So yeah, let's give this one a quick go. Okay, it has some pickup. You can burn rubber with it, that's for sure. I already damaged the gears. It could even drift. Look at that. And I am spinning out. Well, the short gearing here definitely helped, cause for 60 horsepower it doesn't feel like it, that's for sure. It weighs around 1000 kilos, so it is not that light. But it goes fairly fast. I don't want to do any drag tests with it yet. Just quick show off of this car here. Let's crash it somewhere and swap to the other car. Yeah, I couldn't find anything to crash into, but here we are. Some jump. And we hit a pole. Now it's time for the 50s build. The same engine, almost the same sound. As you can hear, it's fairly similar. I don't know why doesn't it want to shift up. It definitely doesn't handle as well as the previous one. Let's try again. Maybe the automatic gearbox wasn't a good idea. But yeah, the longer wheelbase on this one definitely makes it more stable and understeery. The other one is definitely on the side of oversteer. This one doesn't want to turn at all, as you can see, and we are hanging on the... I don't know what. But I guess you could expect that limousine won't be driving very well, won't be handling very well. It has some pickup, it weighs 1500 kilo if I remember correctly. I probably didn't include it in the video, but yeah, it is what it is. I think we are in third gear already. I don't think we'll be going that mythical 160 kilometers per hour anytime soon. It isn't that fast, it isn't handling that well, but it is perfect for cruising the highway, if you could find any in Poland back in the 50s. Oh, there's our other car, hello. So yeah, let's finish it off before I will get completely deaf because of this engine that roars so loudly. Well then, thank you for watching, and I guess I will see you in the next one. Coming up will be the 60s build. I hope I kept this one in the 50s style. I am not sure though. The first concept on the front was completely different. I felt like it was to 60s, so I changed it to this one. It probably wasn't included in the video, but that's a good thing, cause well, it looked incredibly cursed. So yeah, again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Hello, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. Today is the day of our 60s build. For those of you who don't know, this video is part of a longer series that I built a car for each decade that is, well, basically Eastern Bloc inspired. To not delay things any further, I will tell you already what I am going to build today. We are aiming for a V8 coupe. Probably you seen that coming since you've seen the thumbnail and, well, the title of the video. So yeah, we'll be going with 69 build again, and we will be going with this nice body. It is European coupe body. When it comes to the chassis materials, we are going kinda classic steel leather, galvanized steel for chassis material. It doesn't change much anyway. Front longitudinal engine placement. And for the suspension I am going to experiment a bit. We are going with double wishbone on the front and solid X coil on the rear. I might come back to change it later on if we won't be able to lower this car to the height I want it to be. You might have noticed that my naming scheme is all over the place, but well, I've got a reason for that. Basically, in Polish car industry it was all over the place also, so yeah, I want to keep that spirit in these builds as apparent as possible. Overall, we are going kinda classic here. Okay, I don't know what happened to my camera, why it is locked like that. Anyway, what I wanted to say, we are going with kinda classic peaks here, so cast iron, and the capacity of the engine will be, well, 3.3 liters, so 1 liter more than my previous engine, the inline 4 one. The inline 4 will be back in the future. Right now let's focus on the V8 we are working on. I guess I shouldn't go with cast iron crank, as I am going for a little bit more power this time. As you can probably deduct from the preset on the top end, I am going for a little bit lower RPM, but aiming to make more horsepower and more torque on the lower end of the RPM. Still going with carburetor fuel system, because we are going for leaded fuel. This time it will be a regular 92 and single carb, at least for now. Yeah, I like the looks of this one much better, so yeah, let's keep it on. The headers are going to be cast mid. We will see if we need them that big, probably not. The exhaust will be smaller because we are going for dual exhaust, and first muffler will be straight through and the second one will be baffled. Out of the box, our engine is not looking too weak. As you can see, we are doing 190 newton meters of torque on the lower RPM and up to 96 horsepower, but I still want to tune it a little bit. For that we need to check out what's restricting us. Already I can tell you this car will be quite fun to drive. All I did up until now is making the carburetor twin, so it's a little bit more efficient, changing the cam profile a little bit, compression is unchanged, and what else? The fuel map, we can tune it a little bit more, but I guess we are at our limit anyway. This was quite fast tuning, I must say. My initial settings were spot on, so I don't need to change much. I guess we could go for better fuel mixture to make this a little bit more power. Should we or should we not? Yeah, let's go with it, and I will check if we can change the compression in any way. In the meantime, I've changed the parts on the bottom end to something, well, basically cheaper. And as you can see, we have no issues even with no balancing mass at all. Actually, lowering compression to 10 to 1 is much better, seems much better. I don't want to mess with cam profile too much, cause this tune is basically perfect right now. Just a few things we can adjust, and we'll be done with this engine. Okay, so we are finishing the engine with 142 horsepower under the hood and 233 Newton meters of torque. As I said, this one will be fun to drive. For those of you who wonder if the coupes and overall sports cars, typical sports cars were popular back in the day in Poland in well 60s, 70s, well, they were not. But there were quite a few concept cars that looked well, amazing for times. There was a Fiat 1100 or 1100, however you want to spell it. It was basically a coupe that looked like, well, Lotus, basically. I feel like in the 60s, late 60s, there should be a less and less chrome. That is why we'll be keeping plastics on the pieces here. And let's add the engine already so we can see what we are working with under the hood. But now we are off to the hard part of the build. I feel like we should slowly move to headlights like this one. Maybe not these particular ones, but more squarish ones. Or we could do the pop-ups and basically make this car look like a Miata. I really do want to do my own housing for the headlights here. But, well, I am kinda struggling with it. The general idea is here, though. Okay, the handmade housing is done. Right now we need to put an indicator on the front of the car, cause, well, as you can see, I completely resigned from this previous idea of the squarish one, and we will be keeping the indicator like in the previous builds. Kinda went ahead and placed the license plate already, but that's partially because I want to fit these characteristic grills on this car somehow, and the badging that I've well, invented in last episode. Well, that doesn't form very well on the front of the car, but I've got an idea, because if we stretch this, it angles itself, and it should fit the curvature of the car much better. Let's see. Well, kinda. I guess it's a little bit better. I guess I need to adjust this hole here too. Checking in with, well, the front end done, basically. As you can see, I've changed the idea a little bit, changed this piece, body molding piece here to vent, added some small pieces here and there. These are some, well, decorative pieces basically molded together, and they fit very nicely. I am happy with the overall look of front of this car, at least for now. I don't know what else could we add here to make it more characteristic. Okay, that hood design is definitely something I can be proud of. The sides of the car have been done off camera too. As you can see, classic pieces are there. This time I didn't forget to put the mirrors, and we've got some side skirts. Now the only thing left is the rear end. It should be fairly easy with this one. I feel like designing the front of the car is far more important. It's like bringing the soul of the car out and, well, putting the whole general idea behind the design you want to create. While the rear end is far less important and mostly is based off what we've made on the front. That is what I am going to do with the rear here. Also, I want to include these city lights somehow, or evolve them into something new. This time Soviet engineering brought to you something completely new, that is the reverse lighting, so you don't need to back out into the complete darkness anymore. Other than that, the design here will be fairly simple. These lights are the old ones that I used on 2 previous builds, just added some body molding here and there, and these indicators were also used in last build. Other than that, I need to add exhaust. For that I think I will do cutouts. Or not, change of plans. I think I will keep it like that, but there's quite a bit of empty space and I don't know what to do with it. Well, I just added some body molding here, so it is not completely empty. I will think more about it and maybe come back for it later. Right now we should move on. And this time we'll be going with automatic, well, not automatic gearbox, but manual. And I don't think our top speed will be that high, so right away we can lower our top gear and keep the first gear around 50 or 45. And the spread between gears also won't be too long. I will come back to that later on. And the differential open, of course, radial, tires, medium compound, no hard long life. And there will be significantly wider. Offset is set, but it is purely cosmetical. For the front we'll be going with drums. For now I think I will need to change it to disc anyway, and drums will be definitely in the rear. And now here we won't be changing anything still. The soft top will stay like it is. Interior will be standard, AM radio can be. It's still a Soviet car, remember. There will be something new in terms of steering, hydraulic ball, and standard safety. Okay, so the car wants to sit in a proper position, it looks decently, but I think I will need to modify it a bit. What I want to change here is in aesthetic settings. I want to move the trim a little bit lower, because like you can see we've got the well, the frame hanging under the chassis, and we would easily see it in BeamNG Drive. I don't want that to happen. -4 should be fine, or should we go even lower? But then we would need to raise the car on the springs, because it's going quite a bit low. Okay, -5 should be fine. Actually, I should change the ride height in aesthetic settings too, cause changing the ride height in suspension will change our, well, driving basically, how the car handles. Back to the gearing we go. It says we can go quite fast with this one, so let's aim for 200 km per hour and stay with the first gear on 50 km. So the last gear will be quite long, but the first one should be shorter. Yeah, the game wants the rear tires to be very wide, and I guess we should listen to it, so we don't go into oversteer instantly. We press the throttle. So yeah, what else we should change here? The rear brakes are too big, that's for sure. The front ones are enough. So yeah, let's stay with the rams on the front. Looking back into interior, oh, talking about interior, I should design one for this one. I moved to tuning straight away and I forgot I wanted to do one. So yeah, be back in a minute. Just quickly making some decent looking interior. But well, I don't really have nice mods for it to look like it is 60s. So basically I'm using 80s seats from the mod, and the dashboard is also a bit older, but that's because no other dashboard wants to fit in there. It just pops out from the front hood. So yeah. Or actually, I do have something that looks like it is from 60s. I think I used similar ones in one of my older builds. Which one would fit here? This one should be fine. The last thing to do here is to cover the end, the rear end, so we can't see the lights from the inside. There won't be a rear bench, and I need to change it here. Yeah, only 2 seats in this car. Okay, I think we are done. Overall, I am happy with how the car looks. It is again unique, yet still reminds me somewhat of the previous builds. The rear end is fairly simple, I won't be adding anything to it after all. It is all fine. Yeah, so it is time to export this car into BeamNG and try it out there shortly. There we go, we are in BeamNG Drive now. And well, I don't see any issues with the export this time. Oh, okay, classic piece. That's the bumper parts that are chrome. They again exported without proper texture, but that's minor issue. Oh, by the way, look at the bottom right corner. For some reason, the game thinks we are constantly moving. I had to raise the game volume for you to hear the actual car, cause for some reason it is very quiet. Anyway, take a listen. Yeah. Purrs very nicely. Now, like always, we should give it a go. It has some power. The view from the inside works just fine. But I am not going to drive this way. And again, for some reason I am destroying the gearbox right away. Yeah. As I set it in automation, it is not oversteery, luckily. Although it still wants to drift very badly. It just is very easy to control, as you can see. So the car is not bad overall. Yeah, very easy slipping into this drift and out of it. That can be quite fun to drive, but my eardrums are exploding because of the noise of the tires. The gearing here feels quite messed up, because if you shift too early, it dies basically. You have to shift around 70-80 km per hour for it to have power to pull through the third gear. But then from third to fourth it's just fine, as you can see. It drives well, and so we might even reach this well, estimated top speed of 190 km per hour. Yeah, fairly easy. But still, I don't want to do any tests yet in BeamNG Drive, so we'll be finishing it off here, maybe on this pole. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that was the third part of my building series. I hope you like it. If so, leave a like, comment, say what you think about my builds. I like to have some feedback. Anyway, we will be ending it off here, so thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Hi, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. Today I really want to do a deep dive into the Rally Group B class. And for that purpose we will be using one of my recent builds, but that is not the most important thing. The most important thing here is I am going to follow the actual official specifications to Group B rallies. And these mostly focus on placing some restrictions on the engine, for example. We've got to, well, basically our engine displacement has to be multiplied by 1.4 factor if it has a turbocharger. So if we are going for 4-liter engine, realistically we can have only 2.8 liters of turbocharged engine. I am going to aim for the same class that was the Ford RS200 in, that is the 2.1 liter turbocharged engine or 3.0 naturally aspirated engine. Okay, but enough rambling, let's move on to the build. I've got to do some changes here though. Other than the actual design and the engine, we've got to change the trim. I am going with cube body, so, well, it won't really change much other than looks, basically. But still, I can't imagine that, well, we've got a 4-door, or rather 5, because it is a hatchback, a body in a Rally Group B. Okay, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Let's project new engine. This one is the old one, but we are going with inline 4. And okay, we have to change the family year too. So the year of this build will be 1984, and like I said, we are aiming for same class as Ford RS200. The exact engine capacity is 2.142.8. If I recall correctly, I will put a table in the video, so it is much easier for you to, well, understand what I'm doing here. And of course we are going with dual overhead cam for volts per cylinder and aluminum head material. Here I will pick whatever is needed, so these peaks will be likely placeholders. Like so, and now to the bottom end, let's set the compression to 10 to 1 for now. Cam profile will be quite high. VVT, we will see about that. RPM limit, let's set it for 7000 for now. And the aspiration, of course, we are going with turbocharger. I guess you expected what I will pick here, top of the line all the way. I don't really know if we will need anything bigger here or not. We will be tuning that later on. The fuel map will be likely quite rich though. And for the headers we are going top of the line again. No catalytic converter, no mufflers at all very likely, or straight through so I don't go deaf. The engine has some issues, it is knocking, it has a crank problem, but that is to be ironed out. And it shouldn't be that hard, because I've got no balancing mass yet, so yeah. We've got first issues here, cause, well, like you can see, the engine doesn't like the high RPM I've set it to work on, so, well, there's not much we can do about it, really, cause it kills our other parts, so, yeah, I am tempted to set the quality slider a bit higher there. But not right now, let's fix the engine first. We are knocking immensely, so somehow we have to fix it. Got the engine to working state, but we are not there in terms of power to compete with anything in that class. Only 350 horsepower, we need quite a bit more. For that I will need to tune the turbo, but as you can see it won't be that easy. Good thing is that this is a rally car, so it does not need to be very reliable when it comes to the automation rules. We can go quite overboard with these limits here, but for a road car it wouldn't work very well. It wouldn't work at all, very likely. Also, another plus of building a rally car is we are going to stay in high RPM anyway, so there's no need for this lower part to be very, very powerful. Even though I still want to keep it quite significant, so we are not lagging on the start or when downshifting, etc. I think the actual Ford RS200 had 1.6 bar of boost, and as you can see we are deep in the red, and the engine won't take anything more. Still, we are making almost 500 horsepower. I will fiddle with it for a bit more. So I went ahead and cheated a little bit, setting the bottom end parts to plus 15, also changed the sandbox tech pool to plus 15 too, but that is cause, well, the engine was not responding to throttle at all, as you can see, and I wanted to change that, so it is fun to drive. Cause, well, it is not really possible with parts that are accessible in 84. So yeah, that's it, the engine will be done like so. Ultimate fuel 7.6 to 1 compression, quite a bit of boost, 1.4 bar, that is max I could take out of it without breaking it completely. So yeah, now we've got to remake the car completely. So, first of all, we should make it significantly wider, so we can fit bigger tires in there. This body molds quite decently, as you can see, and I think it will be working well as a Group B car. The other thing is the paint. I think I will keep the original one on there, but I will remove these side skirts very likely, or just make them painted. Next up, the fixtures. I don't want to change too much, cause we've got to keep the characteristics, but we'll be removing unnecessary parts, like the license plates, we don't need them at all, and we've got to add some lights on the front, so we can see on the night courses. Also, we'll have to place more downforce on this car. Maybe I will do full underskirt, sorry. And we've got to add some ventilation to the engine, cause it can get quite hot in there. Okay, there's our additional intake straight into the intercooler, so it stays quite cold. And now, what else do we have to do here? I should remove these ones, maybe I will add another vent somewhere around there. Been working on aerodynamics for a while now, and I am still trying to find anything that would fit. I think I am close, it is not looking too shabby after some changes, like additional pieces to fill the gaps and so. Other thing, I'd like to place something like this for additional aerodynamics. Though making wing like that fit is not an easy task, as you can see. It is there, it is not looking too bad, but I don't know if I am fond of this look. Well, it is definitely not perfect. It would be much easier if it was a little bit more flat, and it is curving a lot when I'm molding it, sadly. I have spent so much time on the front already, I am not nearly done even. Well, I guess the good thing is the rear end won't need much work, just some diffuser and some pieces that will define it, and we are nearing the end. Also, I'd like to do some decals, but I don't know if will they work or not, we will see. Also, the interior is to be fitted too. Yeah, my issue with diffusers in this game is they don't want to mold very well. I think I will just drop it altogether. Although we still need, well, exhaust pipe. That should be placed somewhere in the rear. Small cutout for the exhaust and we should be fine. Remember, our exhaust is gigantic. There's literally no wing that would fit this build. This looks too modern, also it is too over the top. So I guess I will be going with improvised build like this. Well, I came up with this double-decker build that, well, still looks kinda bad, but not as bad as these huge wings. At least the interior was quite easy and fast to be placed, but I think I should do a basic roll cage in the rear. I guess it's not that hard to build one once you know what you are doing, but, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, I am just improvising it, so don't judge me too harsh on my well, roll cage building skills. I've built one only in this game, so I've got no clue how they really work. At the end of the day, it's purely for looks anyway, so yeah. I think that's fine enough. Now we should bring some decals in. I wonder, and I really do hope they work in BeamNG Drive, cause mostly these decals don't want to work properly. They break, they export as blank spaces, so on and so forth. So let's be with a good thought here. Slowly getting the car filled up with stickers. I don't want to overdo it though, so... Is that a mirrored? No, it's not mirrored. It looks strange. Well, the car is looking like a freaking Easter egg. There are few places I'd like to place something still, but we are nearing the end here. Okay, I think I ruined this car enough. It is stickered all over. Let's move on to the tune. As you can see, I already picked the drive type. It is all-wheel drive, of course, and we are going with manual gearbox 5-speed. We can't forget the differentials. We've got to go with clutched race LSD, and when it comes to the gearing, I will be doing it by myself, very likely. The gearing here has to be quite short. Remember, it is a race car, a rally car basically, so we don't need too much of a top speed, but we need, well, quite a bit of acceleration. So, our top speed will be 243 km per hour, and we will be going with quite short gearing. As you can see, we are making 100 km per hour in 4 seconds merely, so it is quite good tune, I would say. And now we've got to move on. These tires will not be sufficient at all, we need race tires for rally, and these have to be significantly wider. So in Group B there was also a limitation to how wide your tires could be. It was basically for this class of this engine, so 3 liters, it was 28 centimeters or 11 inch. And that's exactly what we will be rolling with, at least for the rear, cause 275 is max we can place on the front. Still, it is looking quite good. Like you can see, we even gained the acceleration here, so yeah, we are on a good way. Also, let's make these rims quite a bit lighter. Now off to the brakes we go. We need vented discs in the front, that is for sure. And they have to be quite a bit bigger. Also, the pad type will be a race all the way. Now we should be able to go to full stop from our top speed to in merely 5 seconds, so that's good. And under tray, well, we'll need it for our aerodynamics to work, it seems. Judging by this graph here, we should be good enough in terms of steering. We are not going deep into the understeer or the oversteer, so yeah, we should be just fine. And the last thing here, we don't need this fancy interior, so it is race, no entertainment at all, and we'll need to keep an eye on our weight. So the weight is within limits, cause our limit is 960 kilograms, and we are on 1174. So I guess I should fiddle with these quality sliders and lower it a bit more. So instead of changing the quality sliders, I went ahead and changed the materials who our car is made of. So right now we are on monocoque and fiberglass. That was quite common in these rally Group B vehicles. And right now we are right at the border of what was needed from us. We are 22 kilos over our minimal weight. So we are good to go. Also, I will keep this safety to standard, cause, well, if you go too low here, well, the car basically gets too wobbly and doesn't want to drive well in BeamNG Drive. Also, let's make the car quite a bit higher, so we don't bottom out so easy on rough terrain. Well, it looks like we are good to go. The car is finished, it looks decently enough, it fits the theme of the build, that is a rally group B. So let me export this vehicle and we'll see ourselves in BeamNG Drive. And we are in BeamNG now. Like you can see, the decals actually work, that is great. Also, I drove this car a bit and it rips. Just take a look. Yeah, the exhaust is quite loud, I had to tune the game down. And we are on West Coast, that is the dirt track. Let's start it properly. Yeah, as you can see, that's one hell of a race car, rally car, if I knew how to drive it. But like with every single car, you have to learn it to be good at it. So yeah, I guess that build was a success. Okay. I've got no idea how that could happen, but it did happen. Anyway, what was I saying? That the build was a success, yeah? So yeah, right, like you can see. This one is a beast. It could probably race in Group B, I think. There's a lot of turbo lag though, but we still want to keep it at high RPM anyway. Okay, I was wondering if we can make that jump, but there's no problem. Sadly, this track is quite short, so we can't have too much fun here, and there's not a lot of straight lines, and as you probably know, the Rally B class was all about this high speed on our off-road. Yeah, I can't make that jump properly at all. The reason I am on West Coast though is basically because I wanted to race it against my Ford RS200 build that I did. Whoa, that was quite a long time ago. And I think this one will win this contest. So let's move on there. Let's see who's faster there. If the bot can line up, that is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, quite a good start from me. And we left him far behind. Even though I kinda messed up the gearing here. We are under 10 seconds. The brakes insta-lock here. Okay, I think it's a good place to leave it off here. If you got any suggestions, what I could do differently, what I messed up, what I missed, just post them below in comments. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe. You know, it still is quite a good reward for what I'm doing here. I know, that way I know somebody is watching, somebody cares, and well, you want more. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Hello, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. This video is part of my longer series that I built a car for each decade. Basically what we have done here before is 40s car, that is this classic one, and the limo build from the 50s. This one is for the 60s, the sports coupe, V8 coupe. And today we will be building a 70s car. It will be a sedan. So without further ado, let's get to it. I feel like 70s are the times where the cars are getting more and more boxy. They are less oval and they get a lot more sharper corners, like this one. Sorry, I just had to turn off the ray tracing, it was kinda annoying. So what was I saying? We'll be getting, well, a little bit of change to our builds now. They will be quite a bit different, they will evolve, like I said before. So you can expect more of a, well, squarish style on this one. And as you can see, I've went with transverse engine placement this time, so very likely we'll be going with front wheel drive. Also, there's something different in the suspension, it's the torsion beam. When it comes to the engine, we also will be having some changes here. I am going with inline 3 and it will be 1.7 liters. Why? Well, because as you can remember, we had inline 4s that were 2.3 liters and basically we sought off one of the cylinders. That is why we've got 1.7 liters in there. This time it will be squarish though, and as you can see it will be exactly 1.725 liters. Also there will be upgrades in terms of cams. We are going with overhead cam this time and 3 valves per cylinder. Also the head will be cast. For bottom end parts we are going with cast iron heavy, cast conrods and cast pistons. No balancing mass as of now, I will come back to that later. You might wonder why am I cutting down the engine size. Well, remember, 70s are the era of oil crisis, global oil crisis. That is why we have to cut down on our costs on the, well, and increase the engine efficiency basically. Although we will keep going with carburetor for now, and we'll be going with leaded fuel. That is going to stay with us for very long time. Just preset some things here, like you can see, lower the manifold size because we won't need it that big, and also we will be going with lean fuel. Now onto the exhaust. Well, it will be simple as well. No catalytic converter yet. We will be going with muffler, but only the second one. And we are graded with red only. That is because I haven't given it any balancing mass and the engine was blowing up by itself. I guess we'll have to change the parts a little bit. Well, I guess we'll be going with a lot of balancing mass on our engine for this build, and still the reliability is quite low, but it shouldn't concern us that much in terms of BeamNG drive, so yeah. Now let's see what can we do to make it more efficient. Like you can see, we are restricted almost everywhere, so yeah, I will be changing quite a bit in there. I like it how I said before, I want this engine to be efficient, and well, the game tells us the engine efficiency is not a number. It seems only the graph here is bugged out and it doesn't want to show our fuel efficiency, because this one here does change in fact. So yeah, we'll be on 13%. It is not that bad, at least for this era. It's not like the fuel economy is the worst issue this car has. As you can see, the engine does not want to stay alive at all. I've changed the body a little bit, just the version of it, as you can see, and right now I am fiddling with the morphs. Not really sure how much we can change in terms of how this car looks. I really would love to make it shorter a little bit. This time let's roll with this grayish color, and the other thing I have to change here is removing this chrome from the body. This one won't have any chrome on it, or close to any. I might keep some small pieces here and there. As you can see, I am once again making my own headlights, but this time I am leaving the indicator built in them, so I won't be likely placing one on the front bumper like it was in previous build. We have to change something around. Talking about bumpers, I think I will make them fully plastic. I've got no idea how they will export into BeamNG drive, but I guess we will see. Also, we can move. Yeah, I think this trim should be fine enough for what we are designing here. And we are basically designing a cheap sedan for average family of 70s era. I think a fog light would not be a bad idea to be placed here, but I am still experimenting with it. I think a little chrome trim would fit there nicely. We've got to fill this space somehow anyway. And now off to the grill. Somehow we have to keep it kinda similar to what we've had before, and also we have to make it feel like it's, well, cheap basically. The problem here is all of my grill pieces before were hanging down where the bumper is now, so I guess I have to improvise. And that improvisation brought to us this magnificently cursed piece of work. It is like a mix of Mercedes and Polish Polones, but who cares? Yeah, as you can see, I've kept the characteristics of previous cars. There's this side grille that I kept over every build, I think. The hood piece is still there. My handmade logo is also there. So yeah, all that is important is placed. So we can move on to the other parts of the car. Well, this time I can't say I haven't placed the mirrors for the aerodynamics, so I better remember to put them up. Although it will be fitting to exchange them for something more squarish as well. This build will feel very plasticky, but that's how it was in the world back in the day, at least in the eastern part of it. I think it's the time to move away from these silly lights on the back. Although they were present on every build up until now, I don't feel I can make it fit this one here too. So yeah, let's move on from them and make this car look even more squarish by designing a, well, square taillights basically. Well, I wanted to design my own taillights, but when fiddling with what we have already made, I found this, and these ones feel like they were, well, taken from this car. So yeah, we'll be keeping that on. The badging is on, and the last piece we've got to place here is exhaust pipe. Okay, I think we are done with general look of the car. The only thing left is rims, and I want to move on to the interior. So yeah, here's the final look, very likely final look of the car, and now I am off to making the interiors. Simple dashboard, and I already started placing the seats. They look kinda fancy, but I guess they are fitting the era, in terms of style at very least. So I will keep them. I need to find a... oh, this is wrong way. Or is it not? I am not sure anymore. Okay, let's keep it like that. Now I should find a wheel that is fitting this car. I guess this one would be decent. Okay, like so. I should remove this chromed part. Let's make it steel. Can be like that. And now I have to mask the rear end somehow and place the rear bench. Okay, I guess that is all. Now we can move on to, well, making this car drivable, basically. We'll be going with manual gearbox, 4 gears this time. I guess we won't be making that much speed, so let's lower it already. First gear can be like 45 kilometers per hour, and let's make the gears shorter already. Tires will be radial hard long life, and the tires will not be that wide. I think I will keep them like this, 175s on the front and on the rear. How small can we go? This looks silly. Let's keep 14-inch rims and maybe make these wheels a little bit, just a tiny bit bigger. Also, they are a bit offset. Not too much though. 240 drums on the front and drums on the rear too. 200s maybe should be fine. Yeah, they are fine. We'll tune that later on. No under tray, that's normal. Bench in the rear, it is fine. Interior will be, this time let's go standard and basic 8 track. Manual rack and pinion steering, no aids, that's for sure. And safety will be basic from 70s. The suspension will be pretty basic too, twin tube and normal preset, we don't want it to be too fancy. Well, the ride height is too high and I can't change it. It is probably due to my suspension picks. Damn. Yes, I made a big oopsie. I've picked coils on the front, we'll be going with wishbones on the front, and rear will be torsion beam still. And now we should be able to lower this car, so it looks semi-decently. Yeah, but my whole design is seems to be gone for some reason. It's a glitch, I think. Yep, it was a glitch. One quick restart later and we are in the game again. Let's go with 25 centimeters ride height. It should be decent enough and made the car look nice. What else do we have to do here? Yeah, let's keep the gears like that. We can probably make them a little bit shorter even so the car is a little bit more drivable. First gear can be much longer, so let's change that. We are not aiming for well, very fast acceleration anyway. And here I think we are good to go also. Can we go with even smaller tires? No, we can't. 185s seem to be the sweet spot, so let's go with them. The brakes are very likely too strong. Let's make the rear force significantly lower and the front should be fine. Yeah, it is nice. After all, the interior will be basic, and I guess that is all we've had to do here today. So let's take a final look at our car. And we'll be able to move on to BeamNG Drive now. Also, I think the setting for Windows has been changed. I will go back and change it. Right now, like you can see, it is quite light, so it might be fun to drive even. Okay, now I will export the car and see you in BeamNG. There we go, we are in BeamNG Drive now, and we can have a quick look at our latest build. Some things never change. Again, this small chrome piece is, well, in steel basically, and the wheels that I made out of steel are in chrome for some reason. It is what it is. Yeah, so the car should work just fine. Well, it sounds like every inline 3 can sound like, yeah. Nothing fancy there. It has some pickup when you put the gas to the metal. Yeah, I definitely did not just crash into the wall there. No idea what we are talking about. I guess if I made this car rear-wheel drive, we could drift it a little bit. Right now it is very understeery. It does not want to turn at all. But keep in mind that this is not a race car, it is not sports build by any means. I might come back to some of my builds of this series and of other series and remake them into actual sports cars. Well, I feel like completely remaking a road car into sports car with a complete makeover is quite fun idea, but that is for later. Right now, I guess we won't be spending much time in BeamNG Drive. I don't think there's a point right now, at the very least. probably, maybe I will make something more about these cars when the series ends. Right now, let's finish it off here, this time maybe without a crash. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Hello, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. Today we'll be building another car for my longer series that is about, well, designing a car for each decade. They are mostly Eastern Bloc inspired, for now at least. Cause right now we are getting into the 80s and, well, next up are the 90s, so that's the time after the Eastern Bloc has fallen, so there will be more and more inspirations taken from the West. Anyway, if you haven't seen the series, I highly advise you to do so, cause, well, these cars have a lot in common, in short. It is evolution from the 40s to 50s, 60s, 70s and now 80s. Hopefully I will be able to keep the characteristics going. What I had in mind for today's build was, well, body from the 80s, that is the sedan. Let me find it. There it is. Well, it is quite similar to what we had last time, but also quite a bit different. It is more oval, you could say, so there are more curves, less squarey bits. And I have to say it looks kinda like Ford Cosworth, so yeah, we'll be working with that. Also, it's time to move up in the world. We are changing the chassis type from leather to monocoque. It will be, well, more fitting for this build. And I think it will be a good idea to bring the rear-wheel drive back into this one. It looks like we might not be able to make this car rear-wheel drive, judging by the graph here. No idea why, we will see about that. Though, for sure we won't be fitting any big engine into this chassis, cause, well, inline 4 barely does fit. So maybe we should roll with V6, 60-degree V6 that is, and let's try making it efficient. Yeah, as you can see, the naming precises, the actual capacity is exact same as the model name. That is how we are rolling with this brand. For now I am not going with anything fancy here, we'll be changing that later. And single point EFI should be fine in terms of fuel system. I rarely pick, well, the compact intake in my realistic builds, cause, well, it is quite a bit too restrictive in my opinion for a realistic build, so it's much better to go with standard mid or low. The only use case I would see for the intake to be compact is when you really want to change the engine for wars. After setting everything for the first time, we've got, well, not a working engine, that is for sure, but we are making quite a bit of torque in the lower RPM areas. Still, I have to fix this valve float. We've got the engine to working state, but still we've got some issues to fix. I would like it to make at least 140-50 horsepower, and like you can see we are very restricted everywhere. Well, it looks like getting it to 140 horsepower was basically wishful thinking. I don't think we'll be able to do that. Maybe if we upgrade the car all around. Well, it looks like 130 is max we can take out of this engine without completely ruining it in terms of being realistic and also in terms of fuel efficiency. Because it is not the highest, but it should be enough for now at least. So yeah, I guess the engine is done and we can move on to designing the body. The trim here is quite simple, not much to change, but I like the overall looks of it. Now we should do the body paint. The question is, can we do the two-tone here like we did on the last one? It seems we would be able to do so, but I don't really like it. I guess we should keep the middle trim in color of the body. For the headlights we'll be getting rid of these, well, round reflectors and we'll be going with something square. Let me work with it. And after a while we end up with something like this. It is not perfect by any means, but it should do the work just well. I think I could move this a little bit further though. Well, it is still not what I wanted it to be, but well, automation has some restrictions and we have to work with them. Slowly creating the front of the car, and well, like you can see, the badging has been changed a little bit. The 5 stripes, let's say, they are still there, but they are part of the grille now. And what's left here is placing the license plate, and maybe I will think of something more. Okay, that's the front of the car done, I think so at least. Here are the recurring parts that, well, are present on almost every single of my builds of this series. Also, I've changed the interior of the housing of these headlights, so it is more blending in, it doesn't stand out so much anymore. Also, they will look quite a bit different in BeamNG Drive. The exporter changes them a bit, and mostly they look dramatically better. Right now I am doing the sides, there won't be anything, well, very fancy in there, just trying to, well, finish it off with nice fitting door handles. Well, after all, I added plastic trim on the sides, so it composes nicely with our plastic front and rear bumper. Now, well, we are closing into the rear end. For this one I've got a general idea on what I want to do in the rear end, so yeah. The headlights will be pre-made, per usual for the rear ends of mine, at very least, and there will be some more blending included. The rear end is slowly coming together, as you can see I used the exact same pieces on the front, so it is looking quite similar. Well, other than that, this light will be basically a reflective light. So with this setting it shouldn't give any light with by itself in BeamNG Drive. What's left here is some badging. I need to place the exhaust. We've got double exhaust, remember, and well, I'm thinking about giving it a little spoiler here. The rear end is done, basically. I've added some pieces here and there, and I've been experimenting with the spoiler, but I don't think I like it. It doesn't blend very well. I think this car looks better without it. Also, as the last piece, I went ahead and made some defining on the rear windshield, so it is not a big blank empty space. Right now we should move on and do the interior, and well, there will be only tuning left for this car. Well, the good thing is interior design for the 80s shouldn't be too hard. As you can see, I've got everything basically in one place. That is the mod interior, of course. All I need to do here is place these things in there, scale them a little bit and change the color. So interior will be likely cloth again, cause it looks the best in my opinion when it comes to the designing interiors in automation. Yeah, so you just pick the material you want to change, the place of the material, then you scroll down, pick the cloth and whatever color you need. Now the only thing left other than the steering wheel, of course, is masking the places that we will be looking into. So yeah, mostly I am just doing it for the trunk, sometimes I'm doing it also for the front, so we can look through the back window into the engine bay. And for that I mostly use one of these pieces, either from the interior or modular trunk. And that's the way we end up with semi-decent looking car interior. Of course I need to still pick a steering wheel and place it on the interior. Also I am changing the window transparency quite significantly down. This time I even placed the odometer, so we'll see if it works in BeamNG Drive. Well, like I said before, we can't make it rear-wheel drive, cause this body doesn't support it for some reason. I don't think it's the engine placement, cause yeah, like you can see we are longitudinal. Oh, maybe it's the torsion beam. Yep, that was it. So we are with spring coils in the rear now. Torsion beam doesn't support the rear-wheel drive. I always forget that. So yeah, if you ever have that problem, it is basically the rear suspension. So yeah, now we can go with whatever drive type we want, and we'll be rolling with a rear-wheel drive. Again, we are moving up in the world, manual 5 speed, and top speed will be, let's say, 220. First gear can be a little bit on a shorter side, and the spread will be a little bit shorter too. Or no, let's experiment. I said we are going for better fuel economy, so let's make the first gear a little bit longer, and the spread will be bigger also. So we should end up with semi-decent economy. I've just quickly picked some rims, because I always forget them. And now we are good to go to the other parts of the car. On the front we are going with solid discs to pistons. That is quite standard. Rear can be steel drums. Aerodynamics none, of course. Interior will be bench in the rear, and it will be standard this time and basic. Still no hydraulic steering, no traction aids, and the safety will be standard 80s. When it comes to the suspension, still we are going with simple. Let's go dampers, gas monotube. Okay, let's check out the graphs, what we are working here with. Yeah, we can set the top speed at, well, so we can reach this 220 horsepower, so the top gear will be a little bit longer. And when it comes to the first gear, what should we do here? I've been fiddling with spread of the gears for a bit, just trying to avoid any kinks in there so it doesn't drop in power significantly, and it looks like we are good to go. Just checking the brakes, and they don't need to be so powerful, so we can change the pad type to comfort. That's quite neat. We've got almost 50-50 weight distribution, so if I ever wanted to make this car into a rally car, it would be possible, and it would drive very, very well, I think, at least. So that's the finished product. We are on the 130 horsepower, a bit over 1000 kilos, and well, hopefully it will drive just well. Maybe it will be even driftable, but I don't think so, not with this gearing I've set here. But remember, we are experimenting. Quickly checking the fuel economy, I guess it should be in line with whatever it was in the 80s, even lower than most of cars in the 80s, I think. So yeah, that's all for the automation part. I will be exporting the car now. See you in BeamNG Drive. There we are in BeamNG Drive. This is not the topic of the video, but still, I wanted to show you that. It's the result of my fiddling with the exporter. As you can see, it is quite well broken. It does very, very, very silly things. It has no stability whatsoever, as you can see. But enough of that nonsense, we've got, well, sports sedan to discuss. As you can see, it looks fairly decent in BeamNG Drive. Still the same issue of, well, chrome pieces, bumper pieces exporting as steel, but, well, we are used to that by now. I guess I might have made the windows a little bit more transparent, but it is what it is. Do we have interior camera? No, sadly. Now let's see how it sounds. Let's hear rather. Well, it definitely sounds like a V6. Okay, I've got arcade gearbox mode. Now that's better. Let's give it a try around the west coast. Maybe we should see how my gearing works with this one. Remember, I was experimenting with it. Oh! It is not bad, and the synchronizer doesn't want to kill itself. Well, it sounds kinda like a Mercedes, and I have to admit it is, well, quite easy to handle it, but it doesn't turn very well. Oh, I guess we've got we've got a recurring topic in these builds. Most of them either are sliding around or they are not turning at all, but well, these are not the sports builds. It does want to slide out when we are reaching the higher speeds. Also, it kinda lacks power on this fourth and fifth gear. As you can see, we are barely gaining any speed, so I guess the gearing should be a little bit shorter after all when it comes to the higher gears. Well, a little bit of a brake lock there. As you can see, I can handle it pretty well. Well, I think it's a good place to finish the video. Right now I am not doing any tests, as you can see. I am planning to do something with all the builds when I am finished with them. No idea what yet. If you've got any suggestions, you can post them below. I am always reading your comments. Also, if you liked this video and the others, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, cause it helps staying motivated immensely, really. Yeah, so again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Hello, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. Today we will be continuing our, well, small series of where I built a car for each decade. These are inspired by my, well, Polish brand basically. Like you can see, we've done quite a few of them. 5 to be exact, and it is time for the 6th one. It will be the 90s build. My plan is to build a 90s luxurious sedan. For this purpose we will be using this body. It is looking like a Mercedes, but that's on purpose, kinda. I don't want to build a Mercedes clone. I will be doing quite opposite of that, I think, at least. But what I'm aiming for is this front piece here. It is looking quite similar to our previous builds. Also, the engine here will be, well, basically V10, so that will be quite powerful one too. We'll be going with some higher quality materials for this one. Well, it is basically 90s, it is after the Soviet bloc has fallen, so we are going into the export area all the way, basically. And for that we need a lot of prestige, and prestige comes here from the high quality production. The engine will be almost square, 5.25 liter. Why? Because, well, basically for our first build we were going with 2.1 liter. Back then basically one cylinder was like a half a liter, and multiplied by 10 we've got capacity like this. And that's very simple logic, as you can see. 4 volts per cylinder should be fine here. Head material we are going for something lighter. Aluminum should be fine. Or you know what, scratch that, let's go with single overhead cam. On the bottom end we go forged steel, and conrods will be cast and pistons will be cast. Might come back here to change it. We'll see how our engine fares, and balancing mass, let's set it to harmonic damper. For the top end, as I am not going with forced induction, I am going to have the compression set a little bit higher. The RPM should be around 7 or 8,000, at least I would aim for that. So the cam profile can go a bit higher, nothing else will be changed for now. Fuel system we go with multi-point EFI, and I don't want to go with per cylinder configuration here, cause I think that's quite over the top. We should go with either single or twin, and also not go too high in terms of intake manifold. The required fuel will be 98 octane anyway. Keeping in mind that I said we are going with quite prestigious build, we are going with tubular headers. They are lighter, they are well, better quality basically, and the exhaust has to be dual. Well, also this vehicle has to be correctly built for export, so we are going with catalytic converter. In previous build I think we still were on leaded fuel, so that's something new. And the mufflers should be there too. First one, let's say it will be straight through, and the second has to be a dampening one. That would be quite a bit of power for an engine that I didn't tweak at all, but we are not making it because of the Conrod issues. So I guess we are going for higher quality in terms of the bottom end, like so, and now we won't need as much balancing mass as we have right now. Also, I know the valve float has to be fixed. That is quite easily solved by changing the springs and lifters. Quite neat engine we've got here. Maybe we should step back for a while and give it a listen. Yeah. That's how V10 should sound like. I must say, this engine is one of the easiest I ever made. I haven't had any reason to tweak much here. I just, to make it a bit more complex, I've decided to go with full VVT and VVL. It gives us quite a bit of power, additional power, this way of tuning it. Wonder how it will go in BeamNG Drive though. Also, I haven't done many builds with VVL, so I've got no idea how to tune it really. I think that's fine, or fine-ish. Other than that, not much has changed. I just differentiated the ignition timing. Fuel map is quite similar to what it was before, and the exhaust is 2.75 inches, so it's quite big one. To summarize things, we've got our first unleaded fuel build, that is a V10, and we are making almost 500 horsepower. This body is being twisted around with more things like mad, really. I don't know if it was a good idea to pick that one. Yeah, I am not changing the body in middle of the build often. I'm not doing that at all, really. But this previous body was so bad, I just had to do it. It was... no, I couldn't work with it. So yeah, we ended up with completely different body, and now I've got to somehow make it fit the whole build. Well, front just had to get blobby eyes like this, and now we've got to, well, somehow fit our previous characteristics of this well, series basically. I just said I want to keep the characteristics of the previous builds, and I've came up with something completely different. So yeah, I guess I will be rolling with that. We will be setting our badging on the front, that is for sure. Now I wonder if I can fit these 5 strips of ours somehow into this build. Well, the answer is yes, but I don't really like it, so I'm going to remove it and keep the front simple. Maybe do something more with this pattern here. You know what, let's just agree this is the new era and, well, time for a new style. But not completely, there are few pieces that have to stay with these builds of mine. Well, there are only a few small pieces left to be placed on the front, and I've decided to move the badging down onto the grille, cause it kinda looked silly on the hood there. So what I want to place here is only a small front lip, so there's a bit of definition on this front bumper. Not the best, but not the worst either. And that way the sides are done, small indicator, the door handles, I need to place the mirror, and well, the aerial from previous builds is back, but I will make it plastic this time. These 3 spokes just scream that they are from the 90s. That is a lot of taillights for one car, but we will be staying with this kind of design likely till the 2000s, so this is not going to be the only build that will have this long taillight here. What else should we place here is, well, some definition for the rear end, cause it is quite simple as of now, but there isn't much that we have to think about. Just simple grille piece modeled into the morph of the body. The cutouts for exhaust are there. Now we just have to pick, well, proper exhaust. I want to place here one that is square. Okay, like so, and I think the rear end is done, can be considered done. So the only thing left here is to place the interior. I just had an idea to sneak the logo, the branding badge under the taillight. I wonder if it will be visible in BeamNG Drive or in photo mode, cause technically this piece here is translucent. The dashboard was quite an easy pick for this one, but right now I've got to find proper seats. I guess we can go with classic ones from Automation. These are in the base game, you don't need any mods for them. And the rear bench, and we will be basically done with the design. The only thing left will be to tune this car. Also, I've just placed the engine in there and chose the gearbox. The gearbox will be CVT. I want to give it another try. I still don't understand how to transfer it properly into BeamNG though, so it works just fine. But I guess we can learn together, we don't need to be successful at every build we do. Okay, so we can consider the interior done, it looks quite neat. From the outside that is, cause like always if you go inside it is quite, well, empty. But that would take me a few hours to, well, completely fill these interiors. Back in the day I did few builds like that, but these were, well, whole day long to record, really. Okay, as I just said, we are going with CVT, so let me pick other parts and we will see what the graphs tell us. Okay, so there are our graphs. The preset here set is to comfort, that is why it is so high, but I am going to lower it instantly, so it looks much better. Anyway, in real life no car is that high, so yeah. So let's fiddle with CVT setting. No idea how fast this car can go, to be honest. It set us at 290, but we've got almost 500 horsepower, so maybe it would be a good idea to make it a little bit longer. The game tells us we are going to get into 330 km per hour, so let's set it at 337 or 345. Oh, this should be a sweet spot. So changing the first gear here changes the amount of power we get early at the start, so considering we've got quite a bit of power, let's move it a little bit forward to 80 km per hour. The wheels, I've set them off camera, they are well set in terms of the offset. They are quite wide, so they should be giving us enough of traction. Okay, I tuned them a little bit so we are not completely oversteery, it should be a little bit better. Now onto the brakes, and well, the rear ones are overpowered, so let's make them a little bit weaker. This should be fine, the aerodynamics we don't have any, I guess we've got technically a front wing, so we could set it to be, well, set a little bit different. Maybe it would be a good idea even. Well, this setting doesn't do anything because we don't have the rear wing. When it comes to the interior, we are going heavy and luxurious, so yeah, let's roll with that. Traction aids, we've got some traction control and ABS, variable hydraulic steering. Don't think it changes much in BeamNG Drive, but hey, let's go for the stats here. And safety is advanced 90s, we are going luxurious. Also, we weigh almost 2000 kilos, so that's quite hefty car. I wanna change the suspension a little bit, so we are less oversteery, because right now we are quite deep into it. Okay, the drivability went way higher than it was before, so I guess we are good to go now. Yeah, I think the car is finished. I don't think we need to change anything more here. It looks quite quite distinct for what it is. So yeah, let's finish it off here. Let me export the car into BeamNG and we will try it out there. Also, I love that the gearbox says that it has 0 gears. There we are in BeamNG Drive. You know what? Looking at this car from the rear now, again, it kinda reminds me of Saab 993, I believe. And I mean only body molding, cause the lights on Saab are quite a bit different. They are very simple, really. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. We should focus on what we have here. I guess there's a little bit of a mismatch between front and the rear. But, well, I might try to redeem myself in next one. This one is, well, quite neat in terms of how it exported, but I guess I didn't place any chrome bumpers this time, so that is that. Also, this one is very loud for some reason. I guess it is due to, well, the first muffler being straight through, but remember, my previous builds had no secondary muffler at all. They only had the one in the rear. So yeah, enough rambling, let's take a listen. Yeah, the throttle response here is insane, like in a sports car. But as you can easily hear, it is quite loud. Let's see how it drives. I didn't full throttle here. Jesus, I need to lower the volume here, sorry. Yeah, my eardrums wouldn't like that. And here's that oversteer we had in, well, the graphs were talking about in automation. Let's see how it does on full throttle. I guess it doesn't do anything because we have a ESC, or a traction control rather. Okay, now let's try it again. Yes. I've got no idea how CVTs are supposed to work on this powerful of builds. I guess they are not really made for them. This car constantly wants to spin out. It has no stability whatsoever. I tried here to pick up some speed to maybe reach 200 kilometers per hour, but no, there's no way. Maybe when I am half throttling it, it could somehow get to higher speeds, but when full throttling it just goes sideways. It has too much torque for what it is. But I guess we can easily fishtail on the highway here, just around. We can't drive straight anyway, so what's the issue here? Well, let's give it another go, but this time there's something different. Yeah, as you can see, I went for advanced automatic gearbox. So we are much more stable, but still this car is very wobbly. So I guess it would be a good idea to give it, well, much harder suspension, so it is sticking to the ground way better. Also, if I've ever wanted to do it into a race car, giving it a rear wing would be a good option too. So yeah, this car can be fun to drive, can be very fast, but it is all up to the gearing, and CVT, it doesn't seem that it is made for higher torque and higher speeds. Well, I also modified the original CVT one too. I gave it basically a lot longer gearing, so it is picking up speed now, but it still isn't what it could be. It is still very wobbly, it goes around, it doesn't want to accelerate quite as good as the automatic one, advanced automatic one, and here it is. Well, I wanted to crash into it, but I guess you can't steer that one at all. Well then, let's finish it off here, shall we? It was quite a difficult build, it was kind of a fiasco too, sadly. At least the CVT one, it is undrivable at all. Kinda sad, but I guess I got a grip on it. I understand now how to do a proper CVT. For higher torques, higher top speeds, we would need to make it basically a lot longer gearing. That is the top speed than what automation says, and the first gear setting should be a lot longer too. Also, this car has some different issues, like the suspension being too soft, but it is what it is basically. What else can I say? The food delivery came in and I've got no idea what I was saying, but I think I wanted to say that the aim of this build wasn't to get us another sports car, but a luxurious export sedan, so I guess we succeeded at that. Anyway, let's finish the video here. Please consider leaving a like, commenting. I do read through them, I do take them into account when building another stupid or not design. Also, a lot of my viewers aren't even subscribed, so if you aren't, please consider it. It is quite a bit of motivation and it gives, well, what can I say, it makes the videos more apparent for other people that, well, aren't watching this channel yet. And I certainly want to grow and develop. So yeah, let's finish it off here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Hello, I'm Fallen and this is Automation. But before we go into today's build, I want to ask you to, well, consider joining my Discord, the link is in the description. I've got some community challenges planned ahead of us, so yeah, please do consider joining and stay tuned. Or just join in to help the channel grow, so yeah, also consider subscribing, would be great if you did. Today it's time to finish my little series about building a car for each decade that I, well, focused mostly on Polish brand, my Polish brand that is PFS. So yeah, we started in the 40s, 50s, 60s, there are the 70s, 80s, 90s in two versions, and now it's time for 2000s. It will be late 2000s build, 2009 to be exact, and I am going to pick this sedan body from 2006. It is very similar to my last build, but this one, well, will have definitely different characteristics. Last one basically was like a test build for CVTs. This one is going to be, well, let's not spoil it now, but it will have proper gearbox and an engine that is going to be able to proper it properly. And we are most definitely going for rear-wheel drive for this one. Yep, it's going to be inline 4 again, like I said previously. Aluminium block material because it's cheap. And we are going for single overhead cam for this one. So I am not going to be aiming for, well, quite high RPM like in previous builds. This one will be more reasonable. But I guess right now my middle name is reasonable, so yeah. Also, this engine is going to be square. Quite usual way of starting a build for me. We are not going for turbo, so the compression can be quite a bit higher right now. And the RPM limit will be 6.9k. Direct injection, so something new for this build. And 95 octane fuel. And for the exhaust manifold, that is the headers, we are going tubular made, so basically 4-2-1-1. I wonder if they sound different in BeamNG and Automation, if the exhaust sound changes if you switch between them. I'd say it does some difference, but it, well, not really has to be very noticeable. Also, I am going for straight through first muffler for the sound, and the second muffler is going to be baffled. And now we've got to change few things here. Well, that's kinda overkill, but nothing else fits in there, so yeah. The reason why I go like this, this way, is because I don't want to overdo it. Of course I can go top end here, everything the best, but where's the fun in that? Yeah, like you can see, I barely ever work with quality slider too. Also, I don't like the balancing mass here, cause it kills the throttle completely, so yeah. When I can avoid it, I do so. Here we don't really have the possibility, so yeah, harmonic damper it is. Let's take a look what restricts us here. Some unutilized fuel octane, okay, that we can change, but first of all let's change the manifold size. And now the exhaust. 2.25 inch should be fine, and now we still got to work with this octane that we have left over on the table. I guess this is all fine. 160 horsepower, 200 Nm of torque, and that is gasoline engine, so yeah, it should be fine. This one has some decent body molding, well, embedded into it, and I think it would make a great race car when I ever want to move it to, well, a sedan type. But right now we've got to design it so it looks kinda modernish at least. Well, I definitely made something here. It doesn't look good, but I've made something. Okay, there, I am getting onto something. It looks quite modernish, but it is not a finished product yet, so fret not, it will look much better. After all, I am not sure if it looks any better, but well, it is what it is. Slowly but surely we are getting there. Just a tiny bit of chromium to make this, well, some parts of this car a little bit more distinct. Okay, my overall thoughts for now. This car is something completely distinct. It's its own thing, and still I think I kept at least part of the characteristics from the previous builds. Speaking of which, we need this hood piece placed here. 3D placement again, and let me set it up. This mustachio here has some mean look behind him, that's definitely. I think I haven't forgotten anything in this build. It looks semi-decent, semi-finished. We've got the tail to design, and I will be placing some simple interior in this one too. And that's the general idea for the rear end, quite simple as you can see, but still looking quite modern. I'd like to well, add the braking bar here. Wonder if I will be able to fit it somehow. And now we need molding for the license plate. I don't think I have anything that would imitate the parking sensors, so I guess I am going to improvise. These sunroof pieces double great as parking sensors, so we roll with them. And the last piece, that is the exhaust, is placed here. One is the fake one, the other is going to be working one. So let's choose a modern wheels, rims, and we'll be moving into the interior. This one looks quite modernish. I don't think I want to change the plastic inside, cause, well, basically plastic is the main thing in modern cars anyway. There is no more craftsmanship involved like the wooden pieces in the vehicles from the 80s, 90s, or even older ones. So some could say that the modern cars just lost their soul, they've got no soul, they are soulless, and well, I think you'd be partially right about it. Because the greatest companies normally today own a lot of brands that were independent back in the day, and that kinda kills creativity in my opinion. So yeah, small little rant from me there. Also, I'd like to remind you to, well, consider joining my Discord, cause I am planning some community challenges, but they will come when the time is right, that is, when there is enough of us on the Discord, and there's not much of us now. So please consider joining in and, well, building this community here we've got rolling. Also, very likely I'll be asking you, the ones that are on the Discord, what would you like to see next. So yeah, you will have a significantly greater impact on the channel overall. Well, but that's it. Now we've got to set this car right so it drives, and we are good to go into BeamNG Drive. Of course, here we are going with real wheel drive. Also, we will be going with this gearbox, auto manual. I don't know how it works in BeamNG Drive, we will see. Also, let's go with LSD, that is the electric LSD, limited strip differential, so maybe we will be able to drift it. The rims are going to be 18s, and we are going 2 to 5 on each axle. Brakes are mostly going here for the looks. Premium interior, so it fits the modern times, and driving aids, so we are going with electric variable, and let's give it ESC plus launch control. We are quite a bit into the oversteer this time, and well, I will leave it like that, cause we are going for comfort again, not for the sportiness rather. No downforce whatsoever, that is to be expected too, and the gearing is way too long, I guess. Okay, this gearing should give us enough of fun factor in this car. Now let's summarize the build. This is how it finally looks, nothing will be changed here, I don't think so. If something will be broken in BeamNG Drive, then I will change it. But anyway, yeah, we went back into the 2.1 liter engine, it's 160 horsepower, red line is quite low, but we don't need it any higher. Oh, I just noticed our wave ratio is great on this one. Well, it is quite hefty, but there's a possibility to rebuild it as an, well, a race car. Okay, I just noticed I haven't changed the offset of the wheels. Okay, let's go, much better looking. So yeah, let me export the car into BeamNG Drive and we will see ourselves there.
2 hours later.
There we are at the end of our series, all of our builds are there, sorry. Like you can see, they differ quite significantly between each other. Nevertheless, I think I achieved what I wanted to achieve here, that is the showing the evolution of a brand between decades. As you can see, every single one of them has some characteristics that were brought into the another. For example, the badging evolved and stayed with us into the latest build. The grills are also almost the same between the different builds. As you can see, this one has basically the same grill as this one. This one was, well, kinda messed up, but I was struggling to keep the 90s vibe in this one. And the last one is the pinnacle of, well, modern builds. Some unnecessary body moldings, it looks quite modern, it looks, from the side it looks like a Maserati, sedan Maserati or a Aston Martin, to be honest. From the rear they also quite significantly changed it, but well, that was due to the changes between decades in, well, car building basically. And to be honest, I don't like in the slightest the builds from the 70s and the 80s. These rears are atrocious. Also, I know I forgot to change the license plate here and here, but that does not matter. I guess it is time to give it a test drive. Yeah, it's not very loud. And it has barely any power. The question is, can it drift? Yes, it kinda can, but you've got to go into the manual shifting mode, then you can swing this tail basically on a handbrake. To be honest, it kinda wants to stay in a slide, but that's very likely due to it being oversteery very much on basically every gear. So yeah, you can fishtail, you can go around the corners drifting, or you can go into the bus stop. I think it's a little bit too low to the ground, cause it keeps bottoming out on these hops here and on potholes. Guess it would use a slightly stiffer suspension, so it is a little bit more drivable, cause right now it is not bad, but it is not fun to drive in the slightest. I don't know where that 8 seconds to 100 went that we've seen in BeamNG automation, sorry, it is not apparent in BeamNG Drive at all. Let's see if it's so bad on a sport mode, automatic gearbox. Well, that is most definitely not a 8 second. Oh, the interior view works. Not like we need it in any way. I guess we've built quite a neat highway cruiser in this one. Definitely it feels much more luxurious than the previous build, which was aimed to be luxurious. Don't know why we are constantly turning to the right. I haven't destroyed anything in it yet, I haven't hit anything. but I am about to do so. I guess our advanced safety doesn't work against concrete wall. Against solid piece of concrete. Also, the car says we are driving at 11 kilometers per hour for some reason. Oh, I guess that's the reason. Well, anyway. Okay. Anyway, let's finish it off here. Again, I would like to ask you to comment, like, and subscribe if you like this content and if you want to see more. So yeah, it helps me stay motivated. Also consider joining Discord, as I said 2 times before. I am going to, well, I have some plans, let's say like that, to not make it any longer. So yeah, again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.